I'm Jeremy Franklin. With me today is Professor Jeff Barnett, head of the Romance Languages Department. Professor Barnett serves as the faculty athletic mentor for the baseball team, and he also received the 2012 Chub Yeakel Award for his service to the team and the athletic department. Professor Barnett, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
If you would, share a little bit about the philosophy of the faculty athletic mentor program and how you got involved with it.
Well, a lot of times I'll be in the stands, there'll be parents or recruits, and the first thing they ask me is, so what is it that you do? What is this all about? And that probably in essence right there tells you a lot about this program, that as parents and recruits come to WNL, they're not quite used to this type of, to such a program. And in a nutshell, we like to tell them, in the short version is, our job is to be there and reinforce to the students the importance of academics and being a student athlete. I say reinforce, that's probably the word I like to use. I don't think I always need to remind them. Our students, once they get here, they know of the importance of academics. But I become sort of a visual symbol to be around to remind students that academics comes first, and if they let the other pieces fall together, that they'll be successful both on the field and the classroom.
What do you find fulfilling about your role as a faculty athletic mentor?
Well, I think when I think about fulfillment, it probably leads me to wonder which day, which angle. When I do get to talk to parents and recruits that are looking at WNL, it lets me think about the big picture of what we're trying to accomplish here, success and overall achievement in the field, in the classroom, the laboratory. But then on a very personal level, what I find fulfilling is the reason why we teach here, the reason why we come to WNL, is to get to know students and their successes. It's not just about delivering information, but really having a unique relationship that up until this program I really had in the classroom and in my office. So first and foremost, the greatest drive to lead me to invest more in the program always is getting to know the students, seeing them in an area where I may not always see their success in the classroom, but now I'm seeing them in their environment. And that's a completely different view from a professor, to be on literally their field and to see their successes.
There are quite a few faculty mentors here at WNL who are very directly involved with the teams that they work with. I think you may be the only one who gets on a motorcycle and follows the Generals on the road. Tell us about your experiences traveling to WNL baseball games throughout the ODAC.
That's I've been doing that for a few years. I remember the first game. First of all, I usually ride a motorcycle to practice, to the home games, to the away games. So if I leave early, they know it because it's a loud motorcycle. But the very first time was a few years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and I was heading down to Hampton, Sydney, and very cold weather. We start our season mid-February, as you know. And so when I ride my motorcycle, I'm dressed in my motorcycle gear, and it's cold. And I pulled up, and here was some parents that were getting it at the same time. I felt a little bit embarrassed, abashed about, they sort of looked at me like, do we lock the doors? I had my leather jacket on, my leather chaps. And in a matter of moments, I didn't know how they were going to take that. In a matter of moments, I've sort of transformed from wearing my motorcycle gear to my general's gear. And the parents, it all starts and ends, I think, with the parents. They appreciate faculty coming to their sons' games. They appreciate people in the stands, but especially on an away game. I didn't feel too bad then afterwards going to more games on the bike. There are days when it's cold. I think the parents are always surprised when it'll be around freezing and I still show up. Probably the most memorable one was the game I didn't show up at, because it was this week last year. They were going to play in Greensboro. I got about 30 minutes from Greensboro when I got the text saying that the game had been canceled, so I had to turn around and go back. But it just sort of becomes a fixture, I think, for the students to know that sooner or later, hopefully, they'll hear the Harley show up at the games.
Through your involvement with the baseball team, have you been able to learn things and apply those in the classroom?
Oh, sure. I mean, that's, asking about the benefit of doing this. I mean, we really started it out, I think, thinking about how could we provide a service to the students. But I think most of the mentors will tell you, we're the ones who really benefit here. It's daily, I think I can take something from the field and take it to the classroom. Now, I don't mean just a skill set, but I'd start there. I mean, first of all, our coaches are good instructors. People don't always know just how much talent it takes to convey good instructions to people who are trying to perform a skill. And so when I listen to Coach Stickley and Coach Smith, you know, I'm learning something about how and when to speak to students. And I really mean the when, because I think they know when it's appropriate to back off, let that student try something on their own, fail, give them instructions. So those are things I take to the classroom. Watching the way our players interact with other players. One of the things I immediately started doing was trying to get more involvement in the classroom of sort of moving out of the way. Coaches have a great skill for removing themselves at times from instruction and letting a senior player work with a first year. So there's sort of those pragmatic things that, yes, I benefit from my daily teaching. But I think it goes much beyond that. I think the outlook. What does a student, when we have time to chat, what do they really think about why they're here? What do they think about professors? What is the system? And so it's a greater sort of gestalt view of things that gives me some insight that I wouldn't have had otherwise. So there are many levels to your question about. It's all the way from the pragmatic to the abstract to the philosophic. Each day that changes too.
Professor Barnett, thank you so much for joining us here, and thanks for all that you do for the baseball team and the athletics department.
Thank you very much for having me here.